event, this thing that they call the Giro d'Italia, that we call the Tour of Italy. Well, it started kind of oddly back in 1903, not in Italy, but in France. Because someone came up with an idea, in fact, the newspaper came up with an idea that they were going to create this grand tour of people getting on their bicycles, crazy concept, and riding all around France. Imagine what it was like back then, in 1903. The Italians watched this for 6 years and watched it grew, and they shook their heads and they said, no, we can do this better. And in 1909, 92 runnings ago of the Tour of Italy began one of the great sporting events ever on this planet. And understand this event reflects a portion of the gross national product of Italy. 300 million people see it on television in 162 countries where it is covered on TV. There are 5 million spectators on site, and I picked the telephone up and I called the International Event Group in Chicago. They're responsible for all sponsorship. And I asked them if there is a single event on earth other than the Tour de France that had more on-site spectators watch it in a multi-day, single-title event, and the answer was absolutely not. The Tour of Italy is an insane thing that goes through all of these different towns, day after day, for 21 days. This year it is going to start in Amsterdam, and will finish on the 30th in Verona. So this is this event, this extraordinary event. We've got that. Starting back when Teddy Roosevelt was president of the United States, occupying this White House just up the road. And here we are in Washington, D.C., about to see the merging of these two amazing cultures in the form of one of the great sporting events on our planet. This book that was put out, you all either get a copy of it tonight or it will be sent to you. There's a little piece in here that tells you just a little bit about the Giro d'Italia, and I'm going to steal some stuff off the back. 675 newspapers are part of the accrediting pool that attend this event every year. 1,693 representatives from 31 countries, 1,260 journalists, 24% increase, by the way, from the year before. 397 photographers are credentialed at the Tour of Italy, and they represent 47 different agencies. New York Times, they're all there. You're going to get this beautiful little booklet. Congratulations to our committee for doing such a great job of putting that together. You'll have a chance to see that here in just a few minutes. So now the whole idea of us starting an event here in the United States, the reason why we're gathered here tonight, we're talking about the idea that in 2012, that an event that is going to be throughout Italy, instead of starting in the 9 other locations that they have since this race began 92 runnings ago, this will be the first time ever that they will cross the water to come to the United States. It is the first time ever that the United States has ever hosted a grand tour. And this will be one of the great, great events ever to come to the United States of America. I would like to introduce you to the ambassador. I would certainly like to thank him for these hallowed halls and for our wonderful evening tonight. I worked with the G4 group and others to help make this whole thing come together. We're so thankful that they did that. Please welcome Giulio Terzi to our stage. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you very much, Mike. I think that no one more than you had the title to introduce this evening and to welcome everybody here tonight, but I think you did that with very interesting aperçu, the very interesting history of the Giro d'Italia, but also your presentation was already a success of the Giro idea starting from Washington. And the success is that you started in Italian. Lei ha cominciato a parlare italiano. I'm sure that for the next presentation, closer up to 2012, you will give a full presentation in Italian. But let me welcome to all of you to the Embassy of Italy, Mayor Fenty, Chief Lanier, Dr. Zomegnan, honored guests. Here we are in a piazza. This is another reason why this embassy was built this way, with open ceilings in a way. glass windows, the place of light, friendship and understanding. It is a piazza which is very similar to the many piazzas around which Giro d'Italia has been cycling through over the 100 years of history. And let me say that besides representing myself and the government of Italy, I would like also to bring all of you the best wishes by Secretary of State Vincenzo Scotti, who is a personal friend of Dr. Zomegnan, but also served as President of Italy's Cycling League for 9 years. He expressed and he asked me to bring his great satisfaction for this initiative and support also of the Italian government. The Giro, as it was said by Mike, is indeed part of our history. It was launched in 1909 by Emilio Costamagna, editor of La Gazzetta dello Sport, and La Gazzetta is in fact a newspaper which is printed on a pink paper, and that is why the pink is the common denominator of the Giro since then. Most of the Giro's stages take place now in Italy, but not infrequently the prologue or the finale are abroad in neighboring countries. And we consider, in fact, the United States morally, historically, politically, economically a neighboring country. And that is why we also are viewing this great idea of starting the Giro from Washington as a start from a neighboring country. In 1909, cycling was already one of the major sports in Italy. One-day races like the Lombardy Tour and the Milano-Sanremo attracted huge crowds, but there was no national multi-day race before the Giro started in 1909. And in those years, the Italian economy was mainly based on agriculture, roads were unpaved, industrial infrastructure was rather limited. In a way, the Giro evolution coincided with the fast transformation of the Italian society. The Giro, in a way, has grown up together with the country, together with Italian people, being an important conveyor of the image of Italy in the country and worldwide, a conveyor of its culture, of its excellence in all sectors. And just look how far the sports technology industry has come nowadays, as the wonderful bicycles shown here are testifying. In the early days, fans would follow the competition on radio or on newspapers. These were the days of Pinda, Coppi, Bartali. Now is more Garzelli, Simoni and Cunego, and millions of fans follow them on television and the web with exactly the same and perhaps even accrued enthusiasm. When Dr. Zomegnan approached this embassy with this wonderful idea of having the Giro d'Italia starting in Washington, we immediately, spontaneously, with great conviction, answered, yes, absolutely, we have to do it. And because it would be wonderful to see Washington sporting new pink jerseys. The organization is ready, and in the coming months we'll set the motion for the plans of the Giro. I deeply welcome the encouraging and the very sincere commitment of Mayor Fenty to this cause. It could not be otherwise, since besides being a great friend of Italy, of the Italian community, is of Italian descent, so understands the Italian culture as we understand, and is a great sportsman, a cycling enthusiast, and a true friend of Italy. But may I say that he's also a champion in this discipline. So many reasons to applaud to his support of the Giro. Thank you, Mayor. Of course, there are many other enthusiasts that can be found throughout the city at any time of the day, and sometimes even at any time of the night, with the proper precautions. Last weekend, a group wearing yellow coffee jerseys was even spotted making its way along the Canal Road. Some of my colleagues were doing the necessary inquiries, and they realized that they were exactly dressed the way they should have been. Sport is far from being only competition and entertainment. It has a much greater value, in my opinion. As the latest UN World Summit stated, and I quote, "Sports can foster peace and development and can contribute to an atmosphere of tolerance and understanding." Sports and culture are definitely intertwined. Both are aimed at educating the youth to the universal values of loyalty, perseverance, and friendship. I believe that Giro d'Italia might be also a successful promoter of Italian language and of Italian culture. There is no doubt that the Giro speaks Italian and encourages also us to do so. That is why I'm really pleased to have all of you here tonight. Che la corsa comincia. Thank you.